Ginger Thompson is a Pulitzer Prize-winning reporter who spent 15 years at the New York Times as an investigative reporter, as a Washington correspondent, as the Mexico City bureau chief. She's now at ProPublica, and she is the reporter who obtained the first recording today from inside a Customs and Border Patrol detention facility since the Trump administration started implementing this new policy of taking kids away from their parents, which they are now apparently doing at a rate of nearly 70 children per day. Thompson says she obtained this recording from a Texas lawyer who, in turn, says that she got it from a client who says it was recorded last week in a detention facility. Now, on this recording, you will hear kids crying here. You will hear kids crying for their mothers and their fathers. You will hear workers talking to them and trying to sort of figure out what to do with these kids. And you will also hear one very persistent, sort of heartbreakingly persistent 6-year-old girl from El Salvador, whom ProPublica has identified by name. And what she is asking for here is for someone to please call her aunt. She's 6 years old. She has memorized her aunt's phone number, and she is trying to get an adult, any adult, to help her, to call her family, to call the number she has memorized, because she knows, surely, she should be picked up. She should not be there alone.
¿De dónde son ustedes? ¿Y tú?
Guatemala.
No llores. Vas a llegar con... Mira, ella te va a explicar y te va a ayudar. ¿Cierto, Consuelo?
Te va a pasar con su consulado, ¿no? Papá. Papá. Con mi tía, por lo menos, para que después llegue mi mami. ¿Me puedes abrir alguien cerró la puerta esa? Que me venga a traer mi tía para llevarme.
Ella llama a tu tía si tú tienes número y habla con tu tía.
Tengo el número de ella.
Ah, pues ahorita ella te ayuda para que hable. Cálmate nada más.
No, papá.
Voy por aquí, niña.
Papá.
Cuando saquen la comida.
Ay, no, papá. Para que me venga, papá.
Yo cuando esté allá.
Ya le voy a meter a comer.
Papá.
Si tiene una celda, me la da, por favor.
Ay, no,
Porque van a
papá.
hacer, si te quieres juntar con ella, te junta aquí porque voy a tener
Ay,
que...
no,
O me la pone allá
papá.
mejor. Allá en la orillita.
No, papá.
No, voy a tener que hacer aquí, mira, porque voy a meter Jilly y se vaya
No, papá.
¿Cómo se puede traer una silla? Ahí la tiene
No,
toda.
papá.
Porque aquí, porque está pasando y
Ay,
pasando.
no, papá. Papá.
Porque todas las enfermedades, acá
Ay,
tengo
no,
dos
papá.
en la hilera. Como dos enfermedades y allá.
No, papá.
Me dijeron que...
Ay, no, papá.
Al patio.
El otro
Ay,
grupo mujeres.
papá, no.
No, es para...
Ay, papá.
Por eso no puedo tener a nadie.
Va.
Porque luego viene ahí y ahí agarra pared.
Ay, no, papá. Voy a llamar a mi tía para que después de comer me venga a recoger.
Cuando agarren la comida, yo voy a venir para que le...
Ay, no, papá. Tengo el número yo de memoria, 34, 34. Ay, no, papá. Ay, no, papá. Yo también me quiero ir.
¿Y su mami dónde quedó? ¿Dónde quedó su mami?
En una casa ajena.
¿Dónde quedó su mami? ¿Dónde,
En Honduras.
dónde se quedaron sus papás, su mamá? ¿Viene con papá usted? ¿Y usted viene con mamá? ¿Y su mamá también?
Yo vengo con papá. Voy a llamar al menos a mi tía para que me venga a recoger. Ay, no, papá. Y después para que llegue mi mami lo más pronto posible. No, claro, con papá. Claro, con papá. Claro, con papá.
¿Cuál es el número?
34. Y mi mami después que me venga a traer mi tía va a venir lo más pronto posible para irme con ella.
Remarkable audio today published by ProPublica. Joining us now is Ginger Thompson. She's a senior reporter with ProPublica who today published that first footage, audio footage from inside one of these detention facilities where kids are being taken away from their parents and then processed by workers who don't seem quite know how to do it. Ginger, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
It's hard to hear.
Yes, it is.
So how did you get the audio?
So we got a call from longtime sources of mine on the border about the fact that a civil rights attorney had a tape. And I called the attorney, talked to her about the tape. She described what was on it and told me how she had gotten the tape and that she wanted to share it, the lawyer did, because she felt that these were the voices that were sort of missing in this debate.
Absolutely.
Were
Literally
the
missing.
children.
Yeah, we haven't heard from any of them.
The people who have the most at stake in this debate. And so she shared it with me, and then we talked about the best ways to use the tape, and we decided to use the whole thing.
Is it illegal to have a recording from inside one of these facilities? I'm struck by the fact that there's so much attention to what's going on there, and the thing that has been missing is anybody being able to talk to these kids, any moving images of what's going on there, any footage from inside that's not taken by the authorities.
Well, it's unclear to me that authorities in these centers can't have telephones, or people who work in these centers with these children, right? But I think that what we have seen is that the administration, when it offers to take the public into these places, those situations are very scripted, very controlled. So reporters have only been allowed in without cameras in most cases, or very limited cameras. They've not been able to talk to people who are detained in these facilities. So for the public, access to these facilities has been very controlled.
We were able to focus on one kid in particular, a 6-year-old Salvadoran girl. You were able to track down her family members, in part because it's the heartbreaking thing that she's 6 years old, she's got this number memorized, and that's essentially her lifeline to the outside world. Are you able to tell us anything about her status?
So she apparently has been moved out of the Border Patrol facility where this recording was made, and is now in a shelter that is run by Health and Human Services, where she says that she has a bed, she's got good food, but she still feels very alone, and authorities... She's 6. And authorities there have said to her that there's a chance her mother could be deported without her. So she's still quite traumatized.
That is, part of learning that there are parents who are being deported without their kids.
That's right.
That's the U.S. government taking kids from their parents, keeping them, and forcibly sending the parent away.
That's right.
And there does not, as far as we know, reporting from the New Yorker today suggests there is no, it's not that things are falling through the cracks or there's a patchwork system here that's not always working. It seems like there is no process for reuniting parents and kids once they're separated. Is that true?
Well, from what I've heard from advocates and lawyers, this is not unusual. That a parent's case will move through the system very quickly. They will be deported, and their children are here. And then bureaucratically, the system has to figure out how to put those two people back together.
Because then they're handled by different agencies. They're certainly, obviously, in different geographic locations.
And I've heard of separations that go on for months and months.
Ginger Thompson, senior reporter with ProPublica. Congratulations on this scoop. This is serious stuff. Thank you. It's really good to have you here.
Thanks.
All right, we'll be right back. Stay with us.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.